Hey guys, it's Charles Osborne here with the International Wingfoiling Organization. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about some tips and tricks that you can apply to your wingfoiling progression when you're a beginner. A lot of the times, a lot of people struggle with getting standing and staying standing when they're on the board out in the water. Of course, when you're in a spot that has very flat water and you have a board with sufficient volume, then it makes things a lot easier. But not every spot in the world is like that. Some places like here in Cabarete have various conditions from relatively flat water to choppier water, as well as other elements like shore break, other riders and things like that that you have to consider. So the first most common mistake with people that are having issues with balance when they're getting into wingfoiling is that they usually select the wrong equipment. We've made other videos that talk about this, but basically, to summarize, you want to make sure that you have a board that is sufficiently large for you, that has sufficient volume for your weight, that will essentially give you enough support when you're on the water. If you have a board with too little volume, then the board will be sinking and not giving you that platform to sort of work off of, which is going to make it a lot more difficult. The other thing is, if you're in a spot that you have not much wind or you have too much wind, selecting the right size wing is also a place that can sometimes affect people when they're trying to balance on the board. And that could be either because they don't have enough power or they have too much power, where the wing is pulling you off of the board, or the wing is not really giving you anything to sort of hold on to, and it's making it a little bit more challenging. So those are the two sort of basic points that you can apply, which is selecting the right wing and selecting the right board for your spot, your level and your weight, essentially. But now in terms of specific exercises you can do before you get on the water. So here I got my wing, and let's say I want to practice some exercises that are actually going to help me with getting standing a little bit better, a little bit easier when I'm on the water. Of course, there's many variables that we're not going to be able to replicate here on land, but there is one variable and one exercise that we can do, which is going to help us with our balance. So no matter what board you're going to be going with, most likely you're going to start off on your knees. So imagining that I'm on my board. When I'm on my knees, I want to make sure that, first of all, just to face you guys, that I separate my knees enough, not too much where it's uncomfortable, and not have them too close where I don't have much balance, but separate them enough, a little bit more than shoulder width, so that I sort of have a good base to work off of with my knees. Now, of course, there's a lot of people that might have some sort of knee or hip injury, which makes this position very uncomfortable, whether it's up on the balls of your feet or flat on your feet. Not everyone can have these positions and maintain them for a long period of time. So one thing, first of all, that you can do to sort of give yourself extra comfort is use a neoprene or use some knee guards when you're in this stage of learning in wingfoiling. The next thing is also adapting this position into whatever position you can actually do. So let's say it's being on the balls of my feet or being flat on my feet. Whatever position is more comfortable for you, then you can do this. At some point in time though, you're gonna want to end up on the balls of your feet, because it's just gonna make it a lot easier to go from knee to standing, which is the exercise that we're gonna be practicing here. So let's say I'm on my board, I have my wing, and I wanna practice some exercises that are gonna replicate what I'm gonna be doing on the water. So first of all, when I'm on my board, I'm probably gonna be like this. I want to keep my wrist leash in my hand so I can keep the wing a little bit down. If I leave it out like this, then the wing might fly wherever. But here, I could sort of keep the wing nice and low, so at least I could stay in control of my wing while also keeping some balance on my board. All right, So from this position, I'm gonna wanna be getting my wing up above my head. Now, this is the part where a lot of people don't really practice it because they don't think it's that important, but you wanna have a good rhythm of getting your wing from here to in your hands. Now, already, I don't know if you spotted it, but if I do this position here, I'm gonna be adding a lot of steps to getting the wing under control. I don't know if you saw it there, but I did this in around 3 to 4 steps, when in reality, we can cut it down into a shorter one. So if I grab the wing with the hand that's downwind of me, in this case, my right hand, I can easily pull the wing up to my head, grab the front handle, and then grab the back handle. And there I'm in a position where I will be able to have the wing in control in as few steps as possible. Now from this position, I want to be comfortable with the wing above my head. Keeping the wing above my head is going to give me some upward lift where it's going to help me when I want to get standing. And it's also a way of sort of balancing myself and pulling against something to maintain some balance. Now, I don't want to pull completely away or completely back because then of course I'm throwing myself off balance. But in general, I sort of want to use it to have a little bit of leverage to help me with my overall balance. So once I have the wing in a comfortable position where I can maintain it pretty balanced, as you can see here, it's not moving too much or a little bit lower, then I'm ready for the next step, which is practicing to go from knee to standing. So right now, I'm on the balls of my feet. I could also be flat-footed right now, but let's just say I'm on the balls of my feet. The exercise that you're really gonna wanna practice is bring your front foot forward and then popping up. And this simple exercise here on the ground is going to translate very well onto the water because a lot of people do not practice this and then they have an issue going from knee to standing and it throws them off balance. We're going to remember that standing on land is a lot different than standing on the water because the water, as we might have, will have it's going to have some chop or it might be totally flat. But depending on the scenario, whether it's flat or has some chop, I want to make sure that I can go very easily and comfortably from knee to standing. Now, the next step is, after I'm knee to standing, I want to try to maintain my balance and square off. If I go up too straight and too stiff, that's going to put me off balance and I might fall one way or the other. But I want to stay in a bit of a warrior stance where, in the end, I get to be able to maintain a comfortable position and also have some stability. So I want to plant myself on the board. And I want to avoid sticking my butt too far out or pulling it too far in where it's not right. So I want to just maintain a great overall position that's pretty neutral and allows me to adapt. That if the wind is a little bit strong, I can sort of pull in. If the wind's a little bit light, I can try to find the wind without losing my balance. But this exercise of going from knee to standing is going to be one of the key exercises I want to work on while I'm here on the beach before entering the water to help with my balance. And this exercise can be done both ways because you're going to have to stand and get riding both ways. So if I'm doing it the opposite direction, I hold my leash. I'm all fours. All right. I want to get to standing. I bring the wing over me. And from here, bring my front foot forward. I feel comfortable and I get up. And I find my position. One thing that's also very important to consider when you're bringing the wing up above your head is that you want to keep the power in your arms. You don't want the power to go through your whole body yet and throw you off balance. So if you feel that it's getting very windy or that it's too light wind, you don't want to lose the power using your whole body. You want to maintain it in your arms and in your hands so that it doesn't pull you away and it doesn't pull you back or anything. You just want to maintain it here and adjust as you must accordingly. All right, guys. So now that we've already done this exercise, which is going from knee to standing, and mastered that here on land, now what we're going to want to do is apply it out there in the water, which you're gonna see right now. Hey guys, so as you just saw there in the video, we did the exercise that we're practicing here on shore onto the water, which is going from knee to standing while maintaining an overall neutral distribution of weight and balance. Not too much weight forward, not too much weight backwards, nor leaning side to side. And that right there of doing this exercise on the shore and then practicing it while you're out there in the water, you're gonna see is really gonna help out, because more you practice on land, better off you're gonna be when you get onto the water. And it doesn't mean you need to spend hours and hours and hours on the land, but anything you need to refine or sort of develop or visualize is great to do it here on land, because when you're on the water, sometimes it's a little bit more tricky, especially if you're in a spot like this that has some shore break, has some choppiness to it. Then practicing exercises here on land before going out there into the water is going to be key to having a smoother progression in your wing foiling. And in any case, as you saw in that video, if I lean too far back, the foil shoots out of the water. If I lean too far forward, the foil never comes out of the water. And if I either lean forward or backwards, I will go one way or the other. So all these little details, when you put them together, is what's going to help you get foiling and have an experience that's overall efficient, positive, and most importantly, safe. So all right guys, this is Charles Osterlin with the International Wingfoiling Organization, and I hope that this video brought you some value, and we'll see you in the next one. And there goes the ball. Get it, get it, get it. That's what happens when you live in a windy place. Cheers.